Christmas, happy holidays, everything, all of the above. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve, and it feels a lot like Christmas. We had snow. The rain ended up being snow at the end for about a half an hour. Now it's cold as can be. The temperature is dropping. I think it's going to be, by the time I do my fireside chat, about 7 degrees with 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts. I'm out and about. I'm picking up the sub in the morning. Got to get my meats and everything for the big sub, and the lettuce, tomatoes, and mushrooms, and the peppers, and all that stuff, because I want to be ready for game day. And I was seeing a post that was kind of interesting. Rob Nikvinovich, or whatever his name is, he's on, the ESPN shows in the morning and everything else, a Dallas Cowboys hater and such, who said if the Cowboys lose to the Eagles, that Mike McCarthy is on the hot seat. I didn't realize that this was a must-win game. And in the grand scheme of things, let's be clear here. Okay. Let's be clear here. I'm not going to say that Mike McCarthy won't be on the hot seat. I believe Mike McCarthy is, and I think most coaches are on the hot seat, because the bottom line is how your team performs. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. It's literally, how does your team perform? And that's, maybe some are a little bit more on the ready to go ahead and get rid of you than on others. Now think about Jason Garrett actually got 10 years with the Cowboys to do what he did. And the Cowboys currently, 14 games into the season, have already clinched the playoff spot. They've already clinched the playoff spot. In reality, the Cowboys most likely are already slotted in at the 5th seed. Now, Jalen Hurts may be hurt worse than we're thought. Maybe, Gardner Minshew doesn't play that well. Maybe the Cowboys get the win tomorrow. Then they got the Saints and then the Giants, who may need the game to get in as well. Technically, you could look and say the Cowboys could win this one, end up beating Tennessee, and then having to play Washington for something at the end. But more than likely, all the Eagles have to do is win one game. So pretty much, we're going to be slotted in as the number 5 seed, in which case we'll play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And winning or losing this game is not going to change it. Now, if the Cowboys end up playing, say, Tampa Bay, and we go to Tampa Bay, have a first-round exit, then you look at it and say, yeah, Mike McCarthy could be fired. I'm not going to dispute that one at all, because regardless of how the perception was for the Dallas Cowboys going into the season, where, they kept saying that we were going to be terrible because we got rid of Connor Williams, and we ended up getting rid of Lyle Collins. We ended up giving away Amari Cooper. You were holding back and waiting for, Michael Gallup, and that they basically said that your offensive line will be trashed, that Zeke Elliott is spent, and so on. The team has actually performed better than most people forecasted. I said 11-6. Maybe I said 12-5. That's what I said for the season. And that's right where we are sitting right about now. But understand that this is the first time since the early 2000s that we've actually had back-to-back playoff seasons. All those years with Jason Garrett, playoffs, no playoffs. Or 8-8, 8-8, 8-8 playoffs, disaster, Dak Prescott. So, yeah, I think that's another one of those things that it's great attention grabber by ESPN, because, of course, you look at this and say, yeah, okay. And it's funny because you could look at, say, the Jets, who were high-flying and leading their division, now all of a sudden going down the toilet, but nobody talks about that team going down the toilet. And quite frankly, let's look at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I wasn't sold on the Jacksonville Jaguars, but now looking at them, they're one of the hottest teams right now in football. They beat the Baltimore Ravens. They beat us. They beat down the Jets. If they win the next 2 games, they win their... Oh, they beat the Titans. Those are all teams with winning records. They're 4-5 in the last 5 games. And if they win the next 2 games, they're a playoff team. Now, I could see where you could say that the Texans game was a little closer than it should be, but I can look back at the Eagles and say, playing against the Bears, Justin Fields had a 119 passer rating. And the Eagles, Jalen Hurts gets hurt, has a 64 passer rating, has 2 bad interceptions, and they get lucky to get out of that game with a victory. But nobody talks about that. Now, it is cold as shit outside. We have Winter Storm Elliott. Winter Storm Elliott. I believe it's in the 20s right now in Dallas, Texas. In Dallas, Texas, it's cold. Angelica Barone said it's like 28 degrees there in Florida. It is right now 24 and dropping. It was 26 when I came in. Wow. Grocery store is slam packed. I think I'm going to come back later. I'm gonna come back later, or I'm gonna come back early in the morning. It's slammed. It's truly slammed. Everybody's out trying to do their Christmas shopping and stuff, or get ready for the Christmas meal. I think I have enough meats at home to do the sub. I just got to look in the freezer, but I was just going to get backup just in case. But Winter Storm Elliott has come through and has froze the nation. Winter Storm Elliott has kicked ass. There are people without power, and I hope they get their power back on soon because it's cold as shit. Now we understand what it's like in the Ukraine right now with winter and no power. Don't wish that on anybody. But maybe this is a premonition, a insight, a hello wake-up call for Kellen Moore. Elliott has run across the nation. Elliott has kicked ass. In other words, Kellen Moore, run the damn football. Run it. Run the football. That's how you win the games. That's how you win the games. And you play to win the game. That's what I'm talking about. You play to win the game. You don't play it just to play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win the game. And that's what we need to do. Play to win the game. Okay, good people. That's all I got to say about that. What do you think? Leave a comment below. Is Mike McCarthy going to be on the hot seat if we lose to the Eagles? I don't think so. Not just that. I will say one other thing that, at least in his favor, is that the Joneses realized they messed up on the Amari Cooper situation, which is why they've been out like crazy trying to get a wide receiver in Odell, T.Y. Hilton, and so on. You know, they sold us on Jalen Tolbert was going to be the answer, that we know how to draft, and we're going to get this guy and plug him in, and he's going to be great. That we know that Michael Gallup, signing him for $11.some million, that he's going to be a difference maker for us in things. So the Cowboys realize they're partly to blame on where we are this season, and had they not made that mistake, the Cowboys could be actually in a really good position, but they did. Okie dokie, good people. I will catch you back in the man cave.